Now, I know you're going to be talking about this stuff on ProBox, and we'll always yield to that. Again, check out Roy's new venture. We've seen some of it, and it's very entertaining with Juan Manuel Marquez and Miguel Cotto. But we've got some big fights coming up, Roy, as you know, on the zone next week, actually. The trilogy fight between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, Gennady
Right.
Golovkin. Who do you like in that fight? I mean, you've got to say that Canelo, being the younger man, is going to be able to have his way this fight. I mean, that's my hunch on it.
yeah, we all think that. We all think that, but if you stop and if you go back and look at our Pro Box podcast, you'll get some different ideas. But also, if you stop and think about the motivation factor, uh, uh, Triple G has been wanting to fight Canelo for the last 6, 7 years because of the way the first two fights went. So he's been chomping at the bit for the opportunity to make this thing back right. You understand me?
Yeah.
Canelo is coming off of a loss that he didn't look so eager to necessarily even take part in trying to win it. So that being said, is where are these guys' motivation right now? Who's the most highly motivated right now? Motivation is going to be the key to the fight. Who is the most motivated fighter? Is it Triple G? Is it Canelo? Who's more motivated to win this fight? And I think, to be honest with you, I think Triple G is far more motivated than Canelo is right now. But I don't know that for a fact, but I think he's far more motivated. Now, can he turn that into a real victorious performance? We don't know at 40 years old, but he's going to try.
Yeah. I talked to Canelo about this too, because there's obviously a lot of hatred between the men, given the accusations that Gennady threw at Canelo, and then some of the things that you talked about with Canelo just kind of making Gennady sit there and wait for him. A lot of disdain. As a boxer, is it a healthy thing to carry that hatred into the ring, or do you need to separate yourself from that and just stay calm and poised and just go about your business?
I always think you should separate yourself from that hatred because the hatred can get you in trouble. You feel me? The hatred could be something really bad if you're not careful. So hatred can make you do things that you normally wouldn't do, make you go out of character, and that gives a guy an opportunity to want to fight. But I don't think that Gennady has the hate that that Canelo seems to have had. And I think Canelo is also learning that showing hate sometimes helps sell a few more pay-per-views. So I think that's what we did over here. I don't think it's true hate.
And then following that, again on the zone, we've got the man who defeated Canelo, Dimitri Bivol. We've got to ask you about light heavyweight fights, right? Dimitri Bivol against Zurdo Ramirez in Abu Dhabi. Look, Bivol is coming off the victory of his lifetime. Is there any reason to believe that he could, slip and basically, have like this, kind of this lapse that can happen after a major breakthrough win?
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Hell yeah, it is. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this kid Ramirez is a real problem. This kid can fight. People don't understand it. He's underrated, underknown, looking for an opportunity to make himself known. This kid can fight. He's undefeated. He's a former super middleweight champ. Ain't nothing bad about this kid out there. Nobody's beaten him yet. So this is a puzzle that also hasn't been solved. This is a really good fight for Bivol, and Bivol has to be careful not to let this be a Debbie Downer type fight for him because he's coming off the big win against Canelo. Now you find a guy that's relatively unknown, but a very dangerous guy. So this is going to be a very good fight for Bivol. But Bivol is always shown to be the constant professional, and I think he'll handle it the right way. So he just has to be careful not to get caught up in that Debbie Downer syndrome because coming off of a big fight like he just came off of, which was the biggest fight of his career, to fight a guy who you don't really know is going to be kind of tough.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Zurdo Ramirez, being a southpaw, being so long, he's going to have those advantages physically over Bivol. It's a compelling matchup. Why could that give Bivol fits, given the success that Bivol had with that jab against Canelo?
Because this kid is taller than Canelo. This kid is a different type of fighter than Canelo. He's not a small, shorter than Bivol type fighter like Bivol, like Canelo was. He's a whole different process. But Canelo, you got to remember now, was a 154-pounder coming up light heavy. This kid is a 168-pounder just coming one step higher. And Bivol even mentioned that he can make 68, but they're probably close to the same size and definitely close to the same height. So this can be much more of a problem than Canelo ever thought about doing for Bivol because of the height.
Which light heavyweight that's out there right now would have given you the most fits at your peak? Would it be Bivol, Ramirez, or Beterbiev?
I think it would have been Bivol because Bivol is so hard to figure out, and he does a few things that makes it pretty interesting. I don't think Norman necessarily would have beat me, but I still think that Bivol would have been the most difficult one to figure out. And Arthur Benapiel would have been the hardest one to deal with, as far as the fact that you just got to make sure you hit him before he hits you, and that's something I was good at doing. But you better make sure you hit him first, because he hits you, it could be a problem. So, but he would have been a problem too. They both would have been a problem, but B-Ball has speed, power, and he can box. So B-Ball would have probably been a little bit more of a problem than Benapiel, because Benapiel is somewhat predictable.
Really? Well, why do you say that?
In my opinion. Well, because he's a power puncher. And that's what he really lives by. So in knowing that, I mean, I'm not gonna give you a chance to take no power shots. I know that's your best thing. I usually go out and take the best thing away from you. So if I know power is your best thing, then that's the first thing I'm taking away from you.